Hello, beautiful people. Mic check, mic check. How we doing this early morning? All things popcorn. Thank you, beautiful. Shout out to everybody who's watching. Hit the like button if you would be so kind. Shout out to the best mod squad on the internet. Shout out to all the subscribers on YouTube. Join us. Shout out to all the members on YouTube and Patreon. And shout out to everybody who has copped their copy of Bloodlines and Battle Rhymes. Some sort of police thing going on about a block away. So if you hear sirens and also dogs barking, that's why. Glasses found. Yes, glasses found. Do you want to know where they were? On the nightstand right next to the bed. That's where they've been. Just sitting there the whole time. My blind ass has been walking past them for 3 days going, where the fuck are my glasses? But yes, I found them. We're back just in time. Oh, boy. Well, I wanted to start off with something that folks mentioned in the live stream yesterday. And when I went into the held comments this morning, there was a bunch of people trying to post a link to an article. You can't post links to articles on this channel. So they get held. So if you're like, where to go? We're not promoting other people's stuff on this channel. Remember, this is a benevolent dictatorship, so I decide. And this isn't a matter of just wanting to control that for the sake of control. It's that there's, guilt by association assumed. There's integrity by association assumed, right? When I share something. Or when something gets shared on this channel, the assumption at this point, almost a year in, if you're a regular, is that I believe in what it is that I am sharing with you. And I believe that it has integrity and is valid. So there is an article floating around the internet about Drake's Toronto show. It's not a report, it's a commentary. And there's a difference between the two. So the standards are different. This is by my estimation as somebody who, has been a writer and a published writer for more than 25 years. So it came up in the chat. It was at the end. I hadn't read it at that point. And also this constant obsession and gossip about what Drake is trying to do to Kendrick is so tired and so played. And I always say, let's deal with the thing that's directly in front of us instead of reaching for something behind it and making something up and focusing on that. That's a ill of society and it drives me crazy. So anyway, somebody posted the article in the Discord. And so this morning I read it a couple times. And if you don't know the article, it don't matter. It's not going to get shared here. Okay. But this article is being cited by numerous people as proof that Drake tried to get Kendrick's Toronto shows canceled in favor of OVO Fest. I roll. I can't roll my eyes hard enough. And this is according to sources at the venue where the concerts took place. And so people have taken this as gospel and have run with it as fact. And I would just like to offer for you that there's absolutely nothing in that article that suggests that what those sources say is actually true. The author didn't go and try and verify that with anybody. There's no reached out to OVO, Live Nation, PG Lang, literally anybody else to try and verify that. It's towards the beginning of an exhaustively and unnecessarily long article about the concert, the beef, the this, the that, like it just goes on and on and on. And if I asked you, for those of you who have read it, to tell me anything else of substance that was in that article, you probably couldn't tell me anything because that was the only nugget of interest that caught everybody's attention. But when I read it, I don't read anything in there that suggests that any of that is actually true. It's not backed up by anything. And as I was looking into it this morning, it would appear that the author is on X also saying, well, if it turns out that what is in my article isn't true, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Hi, Rabia. It's good to see you, beautiful. There's enough reasons to not like this dude. A big one that we focus on a lot on this channel. I'm writing a whole book about it. Book number 2 is this lawsuit and 1,000 other things that he has done that are on the record. But this whole, Drake is in the shadows pulling strings and trying to do this and trying to do that. Get the fuck over it. Like, this is middle school playground gossip. And it's so dumb and so pointless. And if you want to take that as gospel and say, nah, it's true, then you take that as gospel. But when I read that would not compel me to create a video or a live or a podcast episode, all this media that is getting generated to me is ridiculous. And it's just as ridiculous as all of the media that is getting generated about Jagmeet Singh, the lawmaker in Canada, and his post on social media about, I'm sorry, Drake, I went to the show, because I wanted to see SZA. And then, oh, here's video of him dancing to Kendrick Lamar. And here's video of him. You took that seriously? And then, oh, Drake is so powerful. He got a lawmaker to apologize. That post was a joke. I actually follow Jagmeet Singh and have for a long time. That post was a joke. It was not serious. He wasn't pressured into apologizing. Canada doesn't give a fuck about Drake. I've said that from the gate. He's not Canada's golden native son that they hold up and revere in that way. He has no power, doesn't give a shit about politics, does not walk in those circles, doesn't know how to get to them if he wanted to, doesn't give a good goddamn. That was not a serious post. But people took that as gospel. Oh, he's so powerful that he got this lawmaker. And oh, look, the lawmaker's lying. He's dancing at the concert. Get a fucking life, guys. Get a life. And y'all think that is hard evidence. This is why you can't understand the lawsuit. So that article that's floating around that is, 3 to 5,000 exhaustive words of nothing, that only got your attention because it alleges, based on completely unnamed sources and no attempts to verify, that Drake wanted it for OVO Fest. So when was OVO Fest actually scheduled for? That was the only 3 days in the calendar year that he wanted to do it. So when was it rescheduled for? That was a rhetorical question. It wasn't, because this is bullshit. This is bullshit. So, there you go. That's my take on the article and on the, "Oh, he tried to get it canceled," and, "Oh, lawmakers are shaking in their boots." Pull yourselves all the way together, and when you think you got yourself together, do it again.
Just pull yourself together.
These conversations are so dumb. It's usually the first week of August. Yes, it's a summer thing, but all of a sudden, it's I and I have a right to be annoyed because y'all want me to talk about it. So I'm talking about it. That shit has no validity. Neither of those things that people are just trying to turn into something, by my eye, have any validity whatsoever. It is ridiculously absurd, and it is middle grade schoolyard gossip. It's just stupid. Well, Rabia, he said his sources were people who worked at the venue. Who? Who? But again, you backed that up with nothing. You didn't even back that up with reached out to, they didn't reach back, or all they said was no comment. That turns it into something else. But according to my sources at the venue, Drake tried to get it canceled because he wanted to have OVO Fest there, and it's the only place big enough. Miss me. Miss me. That's not serious journalism. And if you think that that is evidence of something, or you think what people are saying about this lawmaker's tweet is evidence of something, you know what I say. I love you, but you are not serious people. My brain can't, it just will not allow itself to get to that level of stupid on anything for any reason. So that's to that on that. And we can move on. And a little disclaimer for anybody who's watching. I'm completely disinterested in any of your homophobic nonsense. Okay? This channel is a queer space. We've got queer mods, and they have all authority to airlock your ass out of here. I'm not interested in any of that. None of that's gonna fly. None of your no homos, no Diddies, no Tyler. What? I don't care. It's not funny. It's just evidence of your insecurity of your own sexuality and identity. So, not interested in any of that. None of it will be tolerated. Not interested in any um ignorant takes that you have about gay men being pedophiles, or gay men being this, that, or the other, or well, Kevin Spacey. Not interested in any of that. Okay? This is not about Tyler Perry's sexuality. This is about the fact that Tyler Perry is being sued for several things. And as I said at the end of the stream last night when folks hipped me and we glanced at the document and you saw my utter horror. um, this is about the fact that Tyler Perry is being sued for 4 or 5 things. And by my estimation, I think Tyler Perry is an arrogant, dangerous egomaniac. And I have always felt, well, not always, I have felt for some time that he is predatory. And it shows up in different ways. And it has evolved over time. I think he's exploitative. And his exploitation has shown up in different ways and evolved over time. And I don't believe anything that he says because I think he uses Black women as a shield and God as a shield for being exploitive and predatory. Again, in various ways that have evolved over time. So when I say Tyler Perry has finally been outed, I'm not referring to his sexuality. I'm referring to the measure of a man. By my estimation. Cameron Harris. Hello, beautiful. Thank you for your comment. Cameron Harris says it's unfortunate that queer people continue to be villainized when they are usually the least acknowledged and protected of us. To all the queer peeps out here, shout out to y'all and happy Pride. Indeed, happy Pride. Also, happy belated Father's Day to everybody. It's Wednesday now, but it's been on my heart for several days. I keep forgetting to say it. So that is my big, long disclaimer of if you didn't get a sense of it when I talked about the Drake stuff just now, get a clear sense of it right now. I don't care about what your God says about it. I don't care what you think about it. I don't care what you think is funny. It is not going to fly here. And you will get airlocked out of the chat, which means you're blocked off this channel forever. I don't care if you're a sub. I don't care if you're a paying member. Take that shit elsewhere. There's plenty of channels having a conversation right now. There's plenty of red pill niggas who are all over that homophobic, gay men are predators by default nonsense. You go hop, skip, and jump your ignorant ass over there and join that conversation. It's not going down here. Okay. Rabia, not to defend Tyler Perry, but I don't think he's healed from his past trauma. I've I've had past trauma, and the onus is on us to get the help needed. Indeed. Ariel Smoke. We knew about his sexuality. Him being a terrible human being is finally being outed. Yes. A lot of you don't know that Tyler Perry is married and has a child. He's married to a woman, has been for at least a couple years, and has a child. So that was mind-boggling for a lot of people last night when I said that. Somebody made the comment in the chat, "Come on, Tyler Perry. Tracy Ellis Ross is right there." Tracy Ellis Ross is a serious ass woman. Number one. Number two, don't talk about women and Black women like we're just sexual pawns that are just conveniently available for men. We're not. So, this ain't got shit to do with Tracy Ellis Ross or any other single woman. And my response to that was, "He's married." People were like, "Wait, what?" "Huh?" "No, he's not." "Yes, he is." And this is true as well. There are plenty of men who have kids, but don't actually like women, and there are plenty of men who are married. Course correction, I just said they're married, so no, they didn't get divorced. They're married. Kiki, I thought they broke up in 2020. Well, he still says that he's married. We don't know if it's a lavender marriage or not. We don't know if it's a lavender marriage or not. Um, because I've heard Tyler Perry say casually, um, to Oprah in a conversation for something, he referenced his wife. And Oprah's, response was akin to beautiful gowns. And I'm protective of her. I'm protective of my child. I never seen that baby. No, he exists. I never seen that baby. Um, Coach Tut, hello, beautiful. Coach Tut says, it's about time. I'm so sick of him. He made all his money off black women pain. Yeah. Afro Butterfly, based on his screenwriting. I hope she's happy. So, it is what it is. But I have always felt that I think Tyler Perry's facade is as thick as Drake's facade. And I think that he has created a machine that I think that everything he does, you wanna talk about, like, the Diddy enterprise. That's how I look at like, Tyler Perry has the exact same mechanisms to insulate himself, to be in complete control, to puppeteer other people, to control the narrative, so on and so forth. So, while my reaction last night when I glanced through this document was complete horror, and you'll probably see more of that today because I did not read it after the live. I went onto the gaming channel and decompressed after I had some dinner. Um, so you'll probably see some horror again because it's just like, oh my God, here it is. It, for me, it was a matter of time before somebody accused Tyler Perry of something, and I did assume that it would be a man. There have been women who've been like, "This nigga didn't pay me." It's been a while. But there have been women, earlier on in his career that have had fallings out with him, but none of that was surprising, et cetera, et cetera. So I felt like it was just a matter of time. And here we are. I mean, I think that, people spent like 3 to 5 years openly and actively trying to convince Tyler Perry to do things differently in order to create a different product, and he finally got so sick of it that last year, I'll remind you that He called those of us critical. I did a video about Tyler Perry, so I'm consistent in my remarks that there is a video that exists that I did of Tyler Perry early on in this channel, um, in response to, I don't know, one of his movies starring somebody I can't even remember. But I got into, the his strategy of exploitation, basically. Um, but anyway, people spent like 3 to 5 years, like, openly begging and lobbying Tyler Perry, to do things differently, to produce better stories and better representations for us as Black women and more nuanced stories. And he finally got so sick of it that last year he came out and said that we are all uppity ass niggas and we're not comfortable with Black women of a lower class. We're not comfortable with Black storytelling that comes from Black people who are poor. We're not comfortable with these things. And, it'll be a cold day in hell and pry it from my cold dead hands kind of thing. And he was all up in it was a written um article that I was reading, but he had said some things in interviews, he had said some things in articles that were written that just let me know, and people were pointing out in that, like, 3 to 5 year period, the level of control that he has from the CEO's office down to the janitor sweeping the floor is abnormal. You hire other people to the writer's room, to the directing, to everything, to casting, to everything. You are a multi-billionaire. You hire and delegate. So, he says, no, that's his recipe for success. The industry standard says, and society says it's abnormal. So it's things like that that made me go, no, this motherfucker is arrogant, beyond self-confident, beyond just look what I did for myself. He's arrogant as shit, and he is a control freak, and he's insulated. And when you put those things in a pot, that is a potential recipe for somebody to be abusive or exploitative of other people. And so I don't know if this lawsuit, this initial filing of this complaint is necessarily going to show evidence of everything that Mr. Dixon alleges, but I have glanced at it enough to know that it definitely shows inappropriate workplace behavior. No question. No question. And that amounts to, by my eye, again, in my opinion, sexual harassment in the workplace. At the very least. And then it'll go from there. So, if you're not familiar, Tyler Perry is being sued for $260 million by an actor named Derek Dixon, who appeared in the show The Oval, which is one of the many completely stupid television shows that Tyler Perry has. It's my opinion. I said what I said. His attorneys put out a statement. I'm sorry, not Derek Dixon's attorneys. Tyler Perry, gotta keep these men and their allegedness straight in my mind. Tyler Perry's attorneys came out yesterday, and I looked at this on the live because I was like, usually I'm like, I don't care what the public statement is. I want to see what's in the court record. But yesterday I was like, child, what is Tyler Perry saying? Has he said anything? And sure enough, Tyler Perry's attorneys released a statement that basically said, and I'm paraphrasing, well, well, Tyler Perry went above and beyond to be kind and help and give a hand up too. And as it turns out, the only reason Mr. Dixon ever engaged in any way with Mr. Perry was to trap him. And I just thought, that's a terrible statement. As somebody who deals with communications and crisis, that is a terrible, arrogant, ego-driven statement. I don't know if he said more than that. I don't know if he said less than that. The press is not good about, "Here's the statement in full." But the part that I read did not make me feel like, "Oh, yeah, I believe you. Oh, yeah, that sounds like somebody who oh, yeah, I no." Trap him. That's not what you say. Again, you're not Jay-Z. You're not Jay-Z. So, you need to be careful in what you say and how you say it and how you appear. And also, I would just like to point out that if you go to Ebony Magazine, unless they deleted it, but if you're on Instagram and you go to Ebony Magazine this morning, you will find a post about Tyler Perry and you will see a comment from me. Because like clockwork at 8 o'clock this morning, Ebony Magazine put out a deck on Instagram. 10 times Tyler Perry came through for Black women. I was like, I didn't say this in the comment section, but you whores. So, this run up to his latest movie and this, let's encircle Tyler Perry with Black women singing his praises. To me, that's all part of his MO. Helping Black women in Hollywood while also degrading the stories of Black women on screen, while also allegedly being abusive, particularly to vulnerable men who work for him. Like, I see all of that as the same Tyler Perry machine. He can't do one without the other. They coexist. Tiffany Shantae, that's my opinion. I think so. Yeah. So this case is being filed in Los Angeles County Superior Court, and shout out to whoever put it on DocuCloud for free, and shout out to Variety for actually linking it in their fucking article last night, because that was a blessing, because this document would have cost, I don't know, like $50 or something, at least and that's just the document. You already know I'm bitter about LA County fees. I would have had to find the case number. That would have cost $5 to $25. And then I would have had to pay for this document. So it probably would have cost $75, and I really would not have appreciated that. So again, shout out to whoever secured it and put it on DocuCloud for free. And shout out to Variety, because it drives me crazy when entertainment, um, in particular, when entertainment um, outlets talk about lawsuits, civil or criminal, charges, et cetera, and then they don't link the shit, makes me crazy. Little bitty one. Thank you, beautiful. Thank you for the $25 gift to the channel. I 100% agree with you, Absa. Thanks for being the discernment queen. Thank you. I like that. Keeping it real in a space that is so full of baseless. My tiara is right here, but my part's not in the right place for it. So focusing on facts, not facades, is almost a superhuman power set because it's so rare. I guess. I guess so. Child, the chatter, major win, open source legal docs. So grateful. So grateful. Coach Tuts, it's all right. I mean, it's not, but I will now. It's great that I have that I have the case number because I will be awaiting to see what his response is, and I'm sure it will be a motion to dismiss. Um, and the other thing that I will be looking for is to see, because I know this lawsuit alludes to other young men. And what will be interesting to see, this is the same thing I said after Jay-Z. When Jay-Z first got sued by Jane Doe, I was like, in my mind, one of the things that makes it or breaks it as viable or not viable is if within the first 72 hours, somebody else, or maybe the first week, somebody else or multiple somebody else's start coming forward and say, actually, I had an experience in my casting call or this, that, or the other, whatever. And with Jay-Z, it was crickets. With Diddy, it was a deluge, right? And so it will be interesting to see if now that somebody has, and I think there might be, I think Tyler Perry is dealing with 2 lawsuits right now, but I think this is the only one that is quite of this nature. So anyway, it will be interesting to see now that this trigger has been pulled, if anybody else steps forward and says, hashtag me too. Hi, Karen. Thank you for your comment, beautiful. Karen says, these monsters be so powerful, people are terrified. Yeah. Yeah. So here we go. This case arises from a sustained pattern of workplace sexual harassment, assault, and retaliation perpetrated by Tyler Perry, a powerful media mogul, against plaintiff Derek Dixon, a professional actor and screenwriter. Mr. Perry is an American actor, filmmaker, and playwright who has built one of the most successful careers in the film and television industry. Mr. Perry took his success and power and used his considerable influence in the entertainment industry to create a coercive, sexually exploitative dynamic with Mr. Dixon, initially promising him career advancement and creative opportunities, such as producing his pilot and casting him in his show, only to subject him to escalating sexual harassment, assault and battery, and professional retaliation when Mr. Dixon did not reciprocate Mr. Perry's unwanted advances. These events occurred while Mr. Dixon was employed as a series regular on the Tyler Perry show The Oval, and while Mr. Perry held direct control over his employment, compensation, and creative opportunities. Tyler Perry rose, okay, blah, blah, blah. He's in a lucrative multi-year partnership with the Oprah Winfrey Network, has a net worth of $1.36 billion. Tyler Perry Tyler Perry's rise to fame and fortune elevated him from a powerless victim to a figure of tremendous wealth, influence, and power, culminating in the ownership of his own film studio. Rather than using his influence responsibly, Tyler Perry has engaged in a pattern of misconduct where he exploited his position of power. Tyler Perry has been using his power and influence to molest, abuse, and sexually assault impressionable and vulnerable employees, plural, and actors, plural, who look to him for guidance and mentorship while pursuing their dreams. Just like Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Sean P. Diddy Combs, Kevin Spacey, Roger Ailes, and many others in the industry, Mr. Perry's success has led him to believe that money and influence can get him whatever he wants. That belief slowly transformed into the false idea that Mr. Perry can get whomever he wants. There are things in life that money cannot buy. Mr. Perry sought the one thing his wealth and influence could not purchase: a sexual relationship with a man who would remain silent. Perry told Mr. Dixon that his ideal relationship would involve a male sexual partner who he could provide for and who would be loyal but emotionally detached. Perry told Dixon, "Whoever ends up with me is going to be a happy motherfucker." In essence, Mr. Perry desired a one-sided coercive dynamic with a subordinate and arrangement devoid of mutual consent or emotional reciprocity. Thus began Perry's calculated pursuit of Mr. Dixon. This was not Mr. Perry's first instance of sexual exploitation. He has demonstrated a troubling pattern of exploiting vulnerable male actors and employees, leveraging his industry power to create a cycle of hope and dependency. First, he offers aspiring actors the prospect of career defining opportunities, roles that promise visibility and advancement. Then, once they are in his professional orbit, he uses the weight of his influence to ensnare them, positioning their success as contingent on meeting his demands in a quid pro quo sexual compromise. This pattern of behavior reveals a calculated use of professional power for sexual leverage. Derek Dixon is suing. The complaint has 10 accusations, 10 claims, excuse me. Quid pro quo sexual harassment, work environment harassment, sexual harassment, workplace gender violence, violation of the Bain Act, sexual battery, sexual assault, negligent retention, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and retaliation. Using his influence, Mr. Perry provided vulnerable men with acting positions, roles, shows, contracts, cars, and money. Once the object of his desire was hooked, Tyler Perry would then put them in fear of losing it all unless they engaged in Mr. Perry's perverted desire for a sexual gratification. Mr. Perry would easily kill off a character in a show of an actor who failed to indulge Mr. Perry's sexual fantasies. And that text message screenshot alludes to that right there. In one such exchange, Perry stated that he could fix things because the actors of a show he was filming should all be scared because they were all shot at and we don't know who lives. Meaning that Tyler Perry was going to use this as a tool to gain compliance with his desires. Derek Dixon was Mr. Perry's sexual desire ever since they became acquainted. Dixon was working as part of the event staff for a party hosted by Mr. Perry when Perry noticed him. Okay, I just want to read that for myself again because my I was actually looking at a couple different things. Okay, Derek Dixon was Mr. Perry's sexual desire ever since they became acquainted. Dixon was working as part of the event staff for a party hosted by Mr. Perry when Perry noticed him. Perry immediately offered Dixon the chance to audition for a part in one of his TV productions. Dixon agreed and was on set with Perry behind the camera for weeks in close quarters during the time they were filming. Perry would send flirtatious text messages to Dixon. For example, in one message, Perry stated that he was jealous when he saw Dixon going on a walk with another man named Brad. Tyler Perry, why did that photo Make me jealous. You two together. Dixon. Haha, I don't know. It's just Brad. LOL. Tyler Perry. LOL. Derek Dixon. He just wanted to go for a quick walk to get his steps in, and now I'm walking to Chipotle by myself. LOL. Tyler Perry. Thick Derek. Get that Chipotle. Even that is alarming to me, that right there, where Derek Dixon says he just wanted to go for a quick walk to get his steps in, and now I'm walking to Chipotle by myself. I don't like it. In another text message, Perry stated to Dixon, boy, here we go. In another text message, Tyler Perry stated to Derek Dixon, what is it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? Have y'all found that yet in therapy? You can have freedom from religious guilt and still believe in Christ. Plaintiff carefully navigated a friendly demeanor to prevent the loss of income and opportunity on the one hand, and on the other, a firm boundary against Perry's advances. Often, when Mr. Perry started drinking, he would demand more attention from plaintiff and get more aggressive with his flirting. On occasion, when Mr. Perry was drinking, he started to become extremely annoyed when Mr. Dixon avoided him. Mr. Perry stated that of the 600 people in his phone book, he only wanted to talk to Mr. Dixon. I'm not going to read it. You can see it there on the screen. Dixon did his best to tiptoe around Mr. Perry's sexual aggression while keeping on Mr. Perry's good side. Mr. Perry made it clear to Dixon that if Dixon ignored Perry or failed to engage with the sexual innuendos, Dixon's character would die in the next season. Indeed, Dixon's character Dale was shot 4 times in the chest at the end of his first season on the Oval, and Perry always held this over Mr. Dixon's head, implying that Dale would survive if Dixon kept Perry happy. Once Perry recognized the extent of control he had over Mr. Dixon, he escalated this behavior. On multiple occasions, Mr. Perry sexually assaulted Mr. Dixon, including one instance where he forcibly pulled off Mr. Dixon's clothing, groped his buttocks, and attempted to force himself on Dixon. Mr. Dixon told a drunken Perry no and attempted to remove Mr. Perry's hands, but Mr. Perry held tightly onto Dixon's wrists. Mr. Dixon was only able to escape after de-escalating the situation by abruptly changing the subject. The day after the assault, Mr. Perry called and texted Mr. Dixon relentlessly, saying, "Tried you. Call me. And I really need to talk to you. Please call as soon as you can." Finally, when Mr. Dixon answered Tyler Perry's call, Mr. Perry profusely apologized for the sexual assault while blaming it on other things. Perry continued he didn't know why he would do that. Maybe he was self-sabotaging. We are deciphered. Hello, beautiful people. Tyler Perry was a stalker. On the very same call where he apologized for the sexual assault against Dixon, Perry told Dixon, and don't worry, we're going to do your show," referring to the pilot that Perry knew Mr. Dixon had desperately wanted to produce. Shortly thereafter, Mr. Dixon got a call from Perry's lawyer saying that Christmas had come early and that Dixon was getting a substantial raise, and the show was greenlit. Perry's attorney explicitly warned Dixon not to tell any other actor on the show about Dixon's raise because no other actors were getting a raise, only Dixon. Tyler Perry is a large man. He is a big man. Unwanted advances, threatening his job. And I said this at the beginning. I don't know if this document shows evidence that there was a sexual assault, but it definitely shows evidence that this is a completely inappropriate workplace environment. And there is not a oversight body in the United States of America. There is not a workplace oversight body that is not going to find that this is completely irrelevant, that this is completely not irrelevant, completely unacceptable, unprofessional, and can create a hostile or unsafe work environment. And unsafe includes your emotions. A safe workplace, that includes your emotional safety, your mental safety, and your physical safety. So there is not a workplace oversight body in the United States of America that's going to say it's okay for you to engage with a subordinate in this way. Ever. Never. So for Tyler Perry to say, through his lawyer, to have the motherfucking nerve to say, well, apparently, I'm paraphrasing, Derek Dixon is biting the hand that's feeding him and only wanted to trap Mr. Perry so he could get some money out of him. You a dog. That's not the crisis statement to make in this moment. You didn't say, these text messages have been fabricated. You didn't say that. Now, did you? So if you're not going to deny that these text messages are real off top and say this is a fraud on the court, your ego is showing. Your arrogance is showing. Your anger is showing. The slippage of your obsession with control is showing. I didn't do shit. That's not what's showing. The media is sugarcoating this case. Like I said, 8 o'clock this morning, Ebony Magazine on social media. 10 times Tyler Perry saved a black woman's life. I hope Taraji P. Henson shuts the fuck up. I'll say that because she doesn't have a good track record of, the black men she picks to defend with her. He would never, Jussie Smollett. She's been holding severe Maine Coon energy since The Color Purple. I said what I said. Aries girl. Hello, beautiful. Thank you for your comment. Has they're just trying to take another successful black man down rhetoric started yet? I'm sure it's out there. I'm sure it's out there. I saw somebody say, "Wait, Dale died." Okay, calm down, beloved. Nobody knows what happens next on your soap opera. Okay? We don't know. Storm cloud. Facts. How about 10 times Tyler Perry has poorly represented black people or black women? You shouldn't have to caricature black women in a degrading way to help other black women catch a bag. It doesn't have to work that way. Tyler Perry kept telling Dixon that he was sorry and that the harassment would not happen again. However, the harassment and assault continued. Did I? Sometimes I scroll. Okay, yeah. Mr. Perry would also try to deflect the blame for the sexual assault by saying that Dixon didn't have a strong enough no. Yeah, I don't care what race he is. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about Tyler Perry's race. I don't give a shit beyond the fact that he's a black man exploiting, black women. Um, apparently to, cause pain to vulnerable men. Um, again, it's irrelevant. Just like Tyler Perry allegedly being gay is also irrelevant and not what this is about and why your comments on not yours, but for those watching, your comments about Perry's sexuality or things that you think are little jokey jokes will get you banned off this channel immediately. But this right here, Mr. Perry would also try to deflect the blame for the sexual assault by saying that Derek Dixon didn't have a strong enough no. I didn't say it was an article. I don't know if it was an article. I said on Instagram they had a deck. And it is literally something like 10 times Tyler Perry gave black women a raise or some shit like that. And there is a comment, unless they deleted it from me, that's just like LOLOLOLOLOLOLOL. Okay. That's my comment. Okay. So won't be looking to Ebony Magazine for any objectivity on this one. Got it. I At least BET on social was like Tyler Perry being sued for sexual assault and workplace harassment. Midnight snacks. So it's a spectrum for no. Rabia. Strong enough? No. No is strong enough. What you mean? Karen, don't hurt people. It's not that difficult. You woman, you facts. A slideshow of propaganda. A fucking slideshow of propaganda. Let me make sure I'm not lying. Let me make sure I didn't say the wrong place so I don't get sued by Ebony Magazine and it was, somebody else. I might have unfollowed them. I might have been so disgusted that I was like, I'm out. This bitch. I wonder if they took it down. I think they took it down. Because here's why I say this. I think they took it down because I had likes on my comment that showed up in my notifications. And I should be able to scroll back through my notifications and still see them here. And they're gone. So it was Ebony Magazine. They had a deck on social media. They took it down. So didn't have a strong enough no. Perry told Dixon that you have to be able to say no to propositions for sex and mean it and make it clear. Dixon did not know how to answer without facing retaliation, cancellation of his production contract, or perhaps being killed off the show. So instead, Dixon made a joke out of the situation, stating that I'll only say yes to sex if it gets me an Oscar. In response, Tyler Perry stated, the only one who could have gotten that, meaning the Oscar, for you through sex is in prison. So just stick to the no, unless you are really into him. Emphasis added. And then a winking eye emoji. Perry reveals through these text messages that the no he was referring to was Dixon's no. The sex in exchange for promotion in the industry, classically known as quid pro quo sexual harassment. Perry sent this message to Dixon because that is exactly what Tyler Perry was doing. At some point, Dixon left Atlanta and moved to Santa Monica to create distance from Tyler Perry. However, even at long distances, Mr. Perry continued to sexually harass Mr. Dixon. This goes through the parties. Venue and jurisdiction. So he would also probably try to get the venue changed to Atlanta, I would imagine. That's gonna be Tyler Perry's first 2 moves is to get this dismissed or to get the venue changed. In or around September 2019, plaintiff worked for an event company called Legendary Events in Atlanta that was hired to organize defendant Perry's studio opening party. Plaintiff was recruited by Tony Conway, the owner of Legendary Events and close friend of Tyler Perry. Mr. Conway decided to place Dixon directly in a role at a party that required frequent conversation with Tyler Perry. Defendant Perry picked plaintiff out of a crowd of employees present at the party and began asking plaintiff questions about his employment status and whether plaintiff was an actor. In or around October and on the last day of the party, defendant Perry insisted that he and plaintiff exchanged phone numbers, and Perry subsequently texted plaintiff to introduce himself. Perry began asking Dixon about his dreams and aspirations. This is interesting context because Tyler Perry has put out several video packages. He recently did a documentary on himself. And the opening of Tyler Perry Studios features heavily in that because it's his legacy. And so what this is saying is that at the same time that all these people were showing up in Atlanta, Tyler Perry had allegedly picked his next victim, who was a member of the staff hired for this party. And it's not uncommon that when somebody famous has some kind of event like this, and that the event staff that are hired, you're often somebody is often becomes like a basically a de facto body man to make sure that the host has everything that they need, not just their assistant, but like, do you need another cocktail? Do you need another? Oh, he's talking to somebody. Make sure champagne gets over there to them. Like being there for his ear to say, oh, I need this. Go and make sure it's getting done, et cetera, et cetera. So, body man, runner, server, all of the things wrapped up into one. So Dixon told Perry he was interested in acting and writing. Perry then told Dixon to do an audition over the phone and send it to Perry. Dixon told Perry he was at a Halloween party. Perry asked to see pictures of Dixon in costume, and Dixon complied. When Perry saw the pictures, he texted Dixon, I was going to say, your cowboy needs a sugar daddy. Perry continued with, you look great. You're just lacking costume parts. Sorry, don't want to offend. Dixon responded, not at all. It's so true. Half-ass costume. To which Perry replied, what's true? Cowboy needs a sugar daddy? Implying that Perry wanted to be Dixon's sugar daddy. Dixon quickly shut down those comments by reiterating what he said earlier, that the truth was that he was lacking costume parts. Shortly thereafter, Dixon's boss at Legendary Events called Dixon and told him that Tyler Perry was having another event in Los Angeles and specifically wanted Mr. Dixon to fly from Atlanta to Los Angeles to work on the event. Excited for the opportunity to fly to Los Angeles, Dixon was flattered and jumped on the opportunity to meet Tyler Perry again. Shortly after doing the event on November 3rd, 2019, defendant Perry sent plaintiff several text messages that he would love to find plaintiff a job and change plaintiff's life, insisting that they should make it happen. Perry sent Dixon what turned out to be an ominous warning. Be careful hanging around me. I cause dreamers to dream bigger. I cause them to not only believe, but do. Then let's make it happen. You're an artist. You have to be fulfilled. Nothing else will suffice. The very next day, defendant Perry sent an email which contained an offer for plaintiff to play the role of Dale in Perry's televised series Ruthless. Perry said it was a small role that could get a lot bigger, thereby setting up the first stage in a series of escalating quid pro quo offers. At this point, Dixon did not know that Perry was interested in men or that he was looking for a sexual relationship. Dixon assumed that Tyler Perry was genuinely a caring person who discovered the talent that Dixon always felt he had. Dixon filmed his roles in Ruthless in mid-November and went back to his job as an event staff for Legendary Events. Approximately 1 month later, Perry bought and gave Dixon a new car because he hated Dixon's Jeep. Dixon was surprised and elated. Dixon had no idea that he was being set up by Perry for extreme dependence. In December of 2019, Dixon was requested to be part of the event staff at another event at Perry's home in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. After that event, Perry started frequently sending text messages, making phone calls, and demanding that Dixon give Perry some attention. On New Year's Eve 2019, Tyler Perry texted Dixon, I can't tell you the last time I pumped gas, or went to the supermarket, or fly commercial, or packed a bag, or had good sex. It was before I was rich. Dixon found these messages to be strange and untowardly coming from someone like Tyler Perry. But being new to the industry, Dixon played along by downplaying the sexual comments and hoping that being around Perry would allow him to showcase his talents as an actor and writer. Soon after Dixon began giving Perry more attention, Perry made his move on Dixon. January 2020, just a few months after his first acting gig, Perry invited Plaintiff to his home in Douglasville, Georgia. Plaintiff showed up to the home hoping that he would be given a chance to befriend Perry and show him how talented an actor Dixon was. At Perry's home, Dixon was served many alcoholic drinks, which Perry also partook in. Dixon felt that Perry was genuinely interested in Dixon's talents as an actor and writer. Perry made no sexual advances at Dixon while they were drinking, and the conversation was friendly. At the end of the night, Perry told Dixon not to drive home. Perry said it was dangerous and that Dixon was too inebriated to drive home. Dixon agreed and was escorted to a separate guest room, not knowing that this was a ruse to allow Perry to assault Dixon. Dixon was tired and did not have pajamas, and so he got into bed only wearing underwear. Before he knew what was happening, Dixon felt someone else slip into bed behind him and started rubbing Dixon's body around his inner thigh in a highly sexual and suggestive manner. Dixon turned around and saw that Tyler Perry was in bed with him. At this point, Dixon's stomach started to turn and he began feeling nauseous. Instinctively, Dixon jumped out of bed and told Tyler Perry that he wasn't that sexual. Tyler Perry ignored the comment and told Dixon to turn around so Perry could see him naked in his underwear. Perry then commented on how beautiful Dixon's body was. Dixon once again told Perry that he was not into sex. Dixon kept informing Perry that he was not into sex in order to keep Perry at bay, while at the same time not insulting the person who was dangling his career in front of him. In response to Dixon's frequent assertions that Dixon was not into sex, Perry started prying further. Perry would send Dixon a text message saying, "I would hope that you would let someone hold you and make love to you. You are missing the best years of your life, my friend. Trust me. I hope you get past that block in your mind." Perry was implying that Dixon would hopefully get past the block in his mind and would let Tyler Perry make love to him. After the assault in January, Dixon felt betrayed. Perry continued to call or text Dixon every day asking to talk to him more. Dixon ignored Perry, which led Perry to text him, "Derek, why don't you text me more?" The more Dixon ignored Perry, the more aggressive Perry became until finally Perry offered Dixon a part in the new show called Oval. February 2020, Perry told Dixon to quit his job, come work exclusively for Perry. Once Dixon quit his job due to his role on the Oval, Perry started getting more and more personal with Dixon, knowing that Dixon was now under his control. Perry would often say things like, "I give and give and give, and no one ever does anything for me in return. No one ever gives me what I want or what I need," implying that Dixon was not giving him sex. Perry started asking Dixon about Dixon's sexual preferences and what role Dixon took on when he engaged in sexual acts, i.e., whether he was a top or bottom. Perry further indicated to Dixon that he had sex with men before and that he was a top. Perry further told Dixon that when you have a big eggplant and when you hit the G spot right on these bottoms, they go crazy. Perry further told plaintiff that he wanted a man who was in a relationship with another individual, but with whom he could be emotionally involved and engage in sex acts with, like a friend with benefits relationship, because Perry did not have time to deal with the emotional aspects of a relationship, only the physical. On or around March of 2020, Dixon received the script for The Oval. He was written in as a season regular and was therefore expected to quit his job with legendary events. Dixon's character was written as gay, homeless, and a gay, homeless, and desperate store clerk who had to sleep with one of the other characters for a place to stay. More importantly, at the end of the season, his character would be shot 4 times in the chest. Dixon felt that this was a way for Perry to test Dixon out for a year to see if he would be loyal to Perry. Dixon asked Perry about the shooting. Perry indicated that if Dixon did a good job, Dixon would be back, and that a shooting didn't necessarily mean that Dixon's character was out of the script for future seasons. Perry commented that Dixon's character was only shot in the chest, not in the head. Dixon immediately understood that his job security depended on his relationship with Tyler Perry. From that point on, Dixon worked with the constant fear of losing his job if he did not engage with and endure Perry's sexual harassment. Tyler Perry made it clear to Dixon that he would often kill characters in order to get an actor to be loyal or obedient. He winds up back at Tyler Perry's house. Tyler Perry started asking him a slew of sexually charged questions, even asking if Dixon liked it rough in bed. Perry then physically reached out and violently grabbed Dixon's throat, attempting to physically choke Dixon, and remarked, "Wow, look how excited you just got. You do like that." Dixon was horrified, shocked, and in a panic. Dixon never thought Tyler Perry could get so violent and would place his hands on Dixon's throat in a sexually aggressive manner. Dixon did not enjoy or consent to any of this conduct. Dixon was in shock and took steps to immediately de-escalate the situation. Due to COVID, filming of the Oval was postponed. Tyler Perry would make FaceTime calls or other contacts to Dixon almost every day, treating Dixon as his on-call pet. Perry has on-set studio houses. Wanted him to move onto the studio lot. Perry would text plaintiff about other actors on his show, Ruthless. Perry told Dixon how he manipulated employees through ruthless retaliation. Perry told Dixon that if he did not like the way an actor behaved or the way the actor was acting, the character would simply die in season 2. In one conversation in or around April 2020, Perry told Dixon that Perry imagined Dixon prancing around in a cowboy outfit and that Perry did things to Dixon and that he couldn't talk with Dixon about any and that Perry did things to Dixon that he couldn't talk with Dixon about any further because they were so wrong. In or around April 2020, and while Dixon was living in the Tyler Perry studios are being sued as well. It's not just Tyler Perry. Um, and this explains why. In or around April 2020, and while Dixon was living in the studio homes on set, Perry often coerced Dixon to drink alcohol and then get on the phone with Perry. Perry would frequently have someone drop off alcohol to Dixon's door. Perry would eventually turn these phone calls into sexually explicit rants. Perry would get frustrated with Dixon and tell Dixon that he was not giving Perry what he needs. Dixon's refusal to succumb to Perry's sexual advances caused Perry to be even more frustrated. Here's one of the text messages. Listen to me. This is Tyler Perry. Listen to me. If you let the cast know that you and I have a new friendship, then you are opening yourself up to a lot of questions and foolishness. You want them to know that you are here because of your talent, not because we have a friendship or because Tony got me to give you a job. You earned your spot like everyone else. Don't give people an opportunity to play you small or they will. I can't teach you everything. Unfortunately, there are some things you'll have to learn for yourself. Because when we go back to work, I'm not going to know you. I don't have any friends that work for me, my friend. Professionalism is key. It's my friend, my friend, my friend. And then watch the behavior of everyone around me on set. On June 27, 2020, defendant Perry texted Dixon that all he wanted for his birthday were biscuits and blowjobs. but that all Perry ever received were biscuits insinuating a request for oral sex from Dixon. This text was followed by other messages calling Dixon cute, cutie, and that Perry was just thinking about Dixon. In July 2020, Perry remarked about how much he loved the script of Dixon's televised television series called Losing It and exclaimed that he wanted to shoot the pilot for it. Perry would never really work toward that goal, and what Perry was really doing was making Mr. Dixon more dependent on Perry so that Perry could later extract sexual favors from Dixon as a quid pro quo to produce the pilot. Oh, God. So Tyler Perry was having a problem with some other actors on the Oval and was sending text messages and communicating with was ranting to Derek Dixon, "Woe is me" type shit, and then was like, "I know how to fix this. I'm gonna make sure everybody in the season finale gets shot. And we're gonna change the scheduling of the shootout so that we're filming this sooner so that he can use it as a means to get control over the actors." It's not just one person is gonna get shot, he's changing the script, literally. "I'm having a problem with these actors, so now everybody's gonna get shot in the season finale, and we're changing the scheduling of it so that we can shoot it sooner, because once they all realize that they're all shot, they'll be more compliant in the hopes of surviving to the next season." During filming of The Oval in 2020, Perry engaged in a severe and pervasive tirade of sexual commentary, including but not limited to that Dixon liked being choked. Why do you twist your hips when you walk? How can I get a day of Dixon? When will you be thick again? I love how I feel right now, but I don't like being horny. I feel sorry for the first person who flirts with me. I've been trying to put that energy somewhere else, but everything is sexual on this stuff. That snake across the table made me think of, oh, I don't know what that's about. I will gladly choke you right now. A suggestion that Dixon should get braces behind his teeth, but that Dixon would have to give up blowjobs and that it could be dangerous, referring to him as Thick Derek. Quote, "That's when you were thick Derek, fun Derek, drunk Derek, before COVID Derek. I miss him." Perry also photographed Dixon's butt while on set and sent the pictures to Dixon. Two text messages of many show that Perry was jealous of seeing Dixon with other men and that Perry describes Dixon as so beautiful. Perry would also share intimate details of his own sex life with Dixon, among other things. Perry would tell Dixon that he had not had good sex since he became rich and that there were certain times where he had not been touched in months. So he shot his scene of being shot, of his character being shot 4 times. The very next day, Tyler Perry invited him to his trailer for drinks. Tyler Perry asked Derek Dixon point blank, "Are you attracted to me?" and demanded that Dixon answer. Plaintiff reiterated the same way he did after the first assault by skirting the question. Dixon told Perry that Dixon wasn't that sexual or looking for anything. Perry's incessant probing did not stop. Perry continued to talk about how good-looking and sexy Dixon was, and that plaintiff was wasting his looks by not being free and having sex. Dixon repeatedly deflected these comments with neutral answers, constantly looking for ways to avoid Tyler Perry's sexual interrogation while continuing to worry about his future on the Oval. As Dixon was leaving Perry's trailer, Perry got up and pinned Dixon against the wall. Perry began aggressively groping Dixon's buttocks in a sexual motion. Tyler Perry began reaching down towards Dixon's buttocks and groping Dixon's butt in a strong and sexual manner that could not have been a mere accident. Seeing that Dixon had no desire in Perry, Tyler Perry told Dixon that he was drunk and asked Dixon to leave the trailer. The next day, Perry acted like nothing happened, and this time he did not even offer Mr. Dixon an apology. Following this exchange, Dixon began to avoid Perry as much as possible. However, Dixon still felt the need to answer Perry's incessant text messages, so he changed his approach. Dixon often pretended to be asleep to avoid being harassed by Perry. However, Perry persisted by texting Dixon the following messages: "Are you awake? Stop ignoring me. You are awake. Wake up. I know you're not sleeping. And give me attention." He took them to his private island. He took Derek Dixon and other cast members to his private island in the Bahamas. Tyler Perry drank until alcohol made him bold and sexually aggressive. Perry told Dixon that he wanted a relationship with someone who could be emotionally and sexually available to him, but it would also be permissive of Perry having his own relationship with someone else. Perry said he could see himself having that type of relationship with Derek Dixon. Perry insisted that Dixon needed to be with someone rich because Dixon liked nice things. I think I'm going to scroll the rest of this document. We're halfway through. These text messages were followed by others to Dixon like, "Derek, don't you dare ignore me. I deserve better. I deserve attention all the time." The "What is it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? Have you found that yet in therapy?" is wild. You are the rose, but you are so blocked that you refuse to be opened. Christian Curvin. How are you gonna force someone to accept you as a sugar daddy? Have you been intimate with someone? I can't wait to get that phone call from you when you tell me that you let go and you loved every minute of it. No straight man would be going on walks with you or cooking dinner for you unless they wanted to fuck you. I would fuck you. He threatened him on set, asked him if he needed to punch him in the stomach during a scene in front of other cast members. Another assault. Tried to strip him naked in Tyler Perry's guest house. When he tried to keep his underwear on, Tyler Perry grabbed his arm and told him, just let it happen. So many men have uttered those words. Just let it happen. So many men. So many men. The next day, Tyler Perry blamed the alcohol and testosterone supplements. As soon as Tyler Perry realized that Derek Dixon was done talking to him, Dixon got a message from Perry's fixers. Perry's fixers contacted Dixon, indicating Dixon's character in The Oval would be returning with a new storyline the next season, and Dixon was receiving a graduated raise from 10,000 to 16,000 per episode. That would continue to increase to upwards of 19,000 per episode over the coming seasons. This is the Christmas came early thing. Don't tell your castmates. The Fixers told Dixon that Perry wanted to buy the rights to produce the pilot of Losing It, which was Derek Dixon's idea, and planned to spend up to $1 million producing the pilot. Tyler Perry did purchase the rights to Losing It from Dixon. Well, this is just incident after incident after incident. I was looking to see if oh, here we go. This is what I was looking for. I was looking to see if there was anything in here that alluded to incidents with other young men. In December 2023, Christian Keyes, another actor who worked for Perry prior to Dixon's employment, posted a video on social media platforms detailing his abusive experience with an anonymous Black Hollywood billionaire, which Dixon pieced together and believes to be Tyler Perry. Dixon heard Mr. Keyes' account and saw that Perry had been engaging in the same sexual conduct as other actors. Just like the interactions described by Keyes, Perry would get drunk, climb into Dixon's bed, and start fondling Dixon. So he reported the sexual harassment to the EEOC. He quit the show. He was retaliated against. Yeah, so quid pro quo, sexual harassment, work environment harassment, sexual harassment in defined relationship under the Ralph Act. Workplace gender violence. Bain Act. Oh, that's a real general one. But okay. Sexual battery. Sexual assault. Negligent hiring, supervision, or retention of an employee. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. Retaliation. So that's that on that. Within this document, there is a pattern of behavior. There's an MO. I mean, it's the same thing happening. It's the same sequence of events happening over and over and over a period of years and being ratcheted up. That's clearly displayed in this document. It's a consistent pattern of behavior ratcheted up over a period of years. And, you know, just looking at Tyler Perry's face pisses me off. Because he's so fucking arrogant. Hi, Andrea. The texts are clear, and him taking pics of this man's rear while on set was crazy. He still tried to work and do his role, but Tyler wouldn't stop. Wouldn't stop. You should not be interacting with your employees or the employees of your company in that way, ever. It is not appropriate. You cannot be fraternizing with the employees like that. That's ridiculous. Again, that he has to have his fingers on every string from the CEO's office down to who's sweeping the fucking floor to everything in between has always been a red flag for me. I don't see it as a recipe of success. I see it as calculated insulation and obsessive control. Andrea, this is very true. Men don't report rape and molestation. Very rarely. Very, very, very rarely. Che, yeah, people seem to think there's a difference with acting. There's no difference. And Rachel Cunty, love that. Rachel Cunty. This was one of the first things that I thought of yesterday when I heard about this and skimmed through it was This reminds me of Lizzo, and I watched the Lizzo docuseries on Amazon before before there was a lawsuit, before any of that, and I remember watching it and thinking to myself, "This is inappropriate." These interactions that they're having with these dancers, the things that her staff are saying to dancers, like, this is professionally inappropriate and should not be happening. So, that case has since been put to bed. She dodged a major fucking bullet, and she better fucking learn from it. These motherfuckers really need to start asking themselves, what would Beyonce do? Do you think Beyonce is texting individual dancers, the lighting crew? That no, no, no. There's like 20 people in between Beyonce and the people that are hired to perform in a show. And that distance and protocol is maintained. Be fucking professional. It's ridiculous. Truly, truly ridiculous. It protects both parties. It is the professional thing to do. I think Tyler Perry is a despicable human being. And he routinely disgusts me. And I will be paying the, you just trying to tear down another black man crowd no mind. I will be paying them no mind because that is a dumbass argument. It's stupid. And it's not a serious one either. It's not a serious one. This isn't the 19 fucking 50s. It's 2025. We're sick and tired of motherfuckers getting away with shit. And we're sick and tired of people jumping up in their righteous indignation to defend somebody as not being an abuser, like you don't have a fucking clue. So to all the Taraji P. Hensons who want to jump up and mammy for this motherfucker, don't. Don't. You don't have more integrity than this document. So why would your outrage mean a fucking thing? Why? That's the other thing. I don't appreciate when black people get willfully stupid. And that's one of the reasons why I was irritated with Ebony Magazine this morning. Oh, so we're just going to pretend that this doesn't exist? You're just going to belittle it, what? Because the alleged victim isn't black? So if he's actually a victim, what? His pain doesn't mean as much as a black victim's pain? Oh, we've had this conversation on this channel. You want to go ahead and play that shit? I will trot out just how much of a hypocritical, horrible fucking human being that you are, that you would rate pain based on race. That you would rate victimhood based on race. The irony. The irony of that. To take a practice rooted in anti-blackness in America and then weaponize it. A lot of these actors are the same motherfuckers who say, I stand with victims. I believe victims of sexual assault when they stand up and, oh, but now that it's Tyler Perry, these motherfuckers are going to jump into their Maine Coon energy to come up with some rationale of why he should be defended. That motherfucker's a billionaire. He can defend his goddamn self. And if his statements yesterday are any indication through his attorneys, he don't need nobody's help. He's been trapped, ensnared by somebody who just wants his money. Shut the fuck up. That is so tired and played. Over it. That's because people just don't give a fuck about black women, and they value them less, quite literally, than they do black women, when we're the ones saving your asses every day and holding up 3/4 of this goddamn planet. If you're wondering who's upholding the rest of the planet, it's other indigenous women. I said what I said. You're welcome, by the way. Somebody's mama. He sounds culpable to me. Allegedly. Yeah. Sounds culpable to me. I'd say you got him on that workplace, whatever, anything. Anything having to do with a workplace, you're cooked. You're cooked on anything having to do with a workplace. And you're wrong. That's why he's an arrogant ass motherfucker. That's why he's an arrogant ass motherfucker. You're wrong. Clear as day wrong. Now, you can jump up and say that you've never assaulted this man. Fine. Fine. But you cannot justify and say that you are in the right as the business owner and the person in charge of these people's livelihoods and the person responsible for these people's livelihoods. You cannot stand up with a straight fucking face and say you didn't do shit wrong. Can't. So fuck Tyler Perry and the statement he made yesterday through his lawyers. He's a victim. No, you's a shitty boss. Jarrett, classic rules for thee, not for me operation. Yes. Yes. Lincoln, I agree with you 1000%. I'm for giving people their right to their day in court. That being said, I wish nothing but the worst for predators, no matter what they look like. Same. And like I said, I will at least take this as far on this channel as Tyler Perry's formal response in court. I'll read that. I'll read that document. I don't know if I'll follow this case forever, but I'll read that document here. I think that's a fair. Let's see what the man done got to say for himself. But this public posturing doesn't sell me on a fucking thing. Nothing at all. Nothing. And the fact that There are lonely, pathetic, and desperate Black women all over this planet who have their nose firmly up his ass. I again said what I said and won't believe it if they saw video evidence of it. They will get no attention here because y'all are rational and not objective. Anne Marie, bless your heart. This is a nonsensical comment. Hope Mr. Keys won't file as well. The money will be great, but will it be worth it to put your family through? I wonder. I think that is rhetorical curiosity. And who cares what you think about what somebody else has to do for their own healing and sanity? Basically, what you're passively saying is, don't put your family through this. Well, you are assuming that the families haven't already gone through shit watching their loved one be tormented. You don't hold the scales of judgment. You got to have judgment to have scales. Hi, TM Smith. He'll settle. He'll try to settle. He'll posture in public. He'll do all of that. And, you know, today is damage control. And if he is a habitual predator, then it's damage control on several levels. He's got to do damage control with business associates. He's got to do damage control with staff and friends. And then he's got to do damage control with anybody out there who he may be concerned isn't properly under his control and is considering contacting an attorney or contacting this attorney and saying, hey, I have some information for you. And Tyler Perry's downfall might be that he actually surrounded himself with Christians, Black Christians. Because if people really did witness this behavior, other cast members and such who are Black Christians will lie by omission. They really will. They will lie by omission. They're just not satiate. Well, you didn't ask me that question, so I didn't offer the information. Lawyers ask direct questions. And that's when good God fearing people have a problem lying. We didn't need to ask the question of why he kept going there because we don't rhetorically badger people who aren't in positional power. And it's answered in the lawsuit wherein his lawyer explains why he kept going back. Are you going to do this with women too? Did you do this with Cassie? Well, why didn't she? Well, da, 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 da. So that makes it her fault. So that makes it his fault, right? Grow up. We ain't lying under oath. Not well. Not well. I'm glad somebody spoke out against him as well. And, I hope he just stays off of social media and doesn't pay attention to the literally ignorant, vitriolic nonsense that is going to come his way because there's a whole cult of people who worship Tyler Perry unobjectively, just like they worship the fucking, preacher at the end of the block. Just like they pay in 20% of their earnings to the building fund. Building ain't got a new doorknob in 25 years. Unthinking people. And unfortunately, there's a lot of us that are unthinking, ignorant ass folk. Rain PR, stop typing in all caps. Thanks. You'll get blocked out. It's obnoxious as hell. And it will only cause me to ignore you. I love seeing somebody come back in the regular regular size. My bad. Thank you. Thank you very much. Shanaria Williams Simpson, it is truly about time. That's how I feel. I honestly feel like finally it fucking happened. I mean, his no pun intended, his chokehold on Black Hollywood is very real. And it's concerning because he has so many assets. He has so many. Hold on. What? Oh my God, I'm so shook. I can't even think straight. Sorry. I just got the craziest email and I just needed to check. Oh my God. What is happening? Whew, okay. Great. I just got a receipt, which I'm pretty sure is spam. But I just got a receipt saying that I made an $800 purchase that I promise you I didn't make. But I literally logged on to my bank account. Like, if I see this here, this live is over. If I actually see this here, this live is over, but no. There is no such transaction. The goddamn, you ever have a thing where you're just like, "Oh my god," and then your body reacts to it? That's what's happening for me right now. Ooh, child. Oh god, okay. False alarm. I first of all, I haven't made any purchases, so my brain just went on a whole so quickly of like what I'm gonna have to do to deal with this situation if in fact somebody has stolen this money from me, because I know I didn't make this purchase, and I know this. Matter of fact, let me report this right now for phishing. I know this shit is questionable as hell just by looking at it. Um, okay. I'll come back to that later. Now that I can see that the money is not taken, I'm good. So anyway, I guess that was our little bit of levity because I was like, holy hell. This isn't it. Okay, so we have a verdict. In the Karen Reed trial. So, whoo, child, let me take a second to fully recover my breath, clutch my titties in relief that nobody got my money out of my bank account. And let's move on to discuss this jury verdict. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to run downstairs real quick. Grab me a little juicy juice. Okay. Okay, I'm going to play y'all a little something, something while I'm gone. Let me get this motherfucker. There we go. All right. I'll be right back. Okie dokie doo. Forgiven. No grudge held. No judgment held. And I hope you find your healing. This is a safe space. It's a rigorous space, but it is a safe space. So thank you for your follow-up comment and for sharing more about yourself. I still get offended by the because black people just can't leave. Well, we'll leave other people's shit, but each other? Nah, we gonna hang for a minute. We gonna hang. We'll leave other people's shit early. We'll do that Irish goodbye. Where'd Absa go? Absa was just here. Absa gone. Absa left 20 minutes ago. Shit. I did. I turned off the elevator music. Oh. I don't think I can. Oh, can I? Oh, let me see if I can. Let's see if I change the headline of this. This actually works. Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay, great. Well, never mind. See if I can do it here. Okie dokie. Pulling myself together. I guess kind of thank God for that false alarm interruption because I was thinking to myself, well, I can't do a titty transition after talking about Tyler Perry. But I literally did clutch my titties in horror and relief. So we got there. It's built in to StreamYard, and it's called Feeding the Ducks. It's got a nice little vibe to it. I don't really like it's crazy because I don't like the one that says lo-fi. I don't like it. Not as much as I like Feeding the Ducks. Here, this is what the lo-fi one sounds like. That's annoying. Feeding the ducks? That's fire. The lo-fi one sucks. It really sucks, and I've never, um I think I did this once before when I had to step away. I played a little music, but you all let me know I turned it down too low. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 preloaded. This one is acoustic cinematic. Yep, that's annoying too. Dance pop. Trash. Daydreaming. Nothing to write home about. Into space. Night driving. No. And rock. Boring. Fateless wanders in late to Absa playing ringtones. For real, that is what many of them sound like. They sound like ringtones. Okay, well, Karen Reed has been acquitted. A Massachusetts jury has found Karen Reed not guilty in the death of her police officer boyfriend 3 years and two high-profile trials later. The jury delivered their verdict on Wednesday, finding Reed guilty only on one charge, operating a vehicle under the influence. Claudia, I think that was your bet. As she was cleared of the most serious charges, Reed hugged her lawyers as booming cheers could be heard from the crowd gathered outside. Reed was accused of killing John. Shut the fuck up. Reed was accused of killing John O'Keefe in January 2022 by hitting him with her Lexus SUV. She's been sentenced to 1 year of probation for the operating a vehicle under the influence, standard consequence for a first-time offender. This is so stupid. This right here encapsulates how stupid this case was. Prosecutors didn't try to persuade jurors that Reed intended to murder O'Keefe, just that she intentionally reversed her car despite knowing it could kill him. She doesn't even have to know she hit him, but she did, prosecutor Hank Brennan said in his closing argument. She did, and she left a man who was kind and generous and thoughtful. She left him alone. She left him alone to die. So she could have gone into prison for life today, but instead, acquittal. Trying to see if there's any statement. Jesus Christ, this article is long as shit. So that's that. It's over. I'm glad it's over, and I'm glad she wasn't found guilty of second-degree murder. I said this yesterday. I don't think they had what they needed to even bring that charge. So, in my opinion, whatever that means, I think that is a just verdict. So, well, she wasn't charged with murder, so she didn't get away with murder, K. Smith, but they don't have anything, obviously. They don't have anything that proved she intentionally reversed her vehicle knowing she could kill him. That's so stupid. And then when it comes down to the investigation and why they lost the case, that's completely on them. That is completely on them and everybody that they brought in to deal with this case, from the investigator down to the red cups to collect blood evidence, which is the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen in my life. And then putting them in a takeout bag. Stupid. The reversed footage was crazy. That was a bombshell in the first trial. They tried it. They tried everything they could to convict this woman, and they were unsuccessful. We don't know that he never went in the house. She says he did. The people in the house say that he didn't. But basically what it comes down to is they drove over there. He was to go in, make sure everything was, good, everybody's good, because this is after already a night of drinking, and then he never came back out. She got pissed off, and she left. She was texting him, she was calling him, he was not responsive. She was furious. All of that shit is recorded. There's a documentary series on HBO, I think, or Max or whatever the fuck it's called. All this stuff is recorded. Her cussing him out on his phone, recorded. Where the fuck are you? All of that recorded. So even those messages where the prosecution is like, she's unhinged, the defense is like, she was drunk, pissed, and she didn't know where he was. So even she knew he was behind her car. No, she didn't. No, she didn't. Those phone messages can be considered excited utterances. And the relevance of excited utterances is that they are statements made under certain circumstances wherein the person making the statement probably didn't lie. And that's how I look at her messages that night to her boyfriend. I look at them as excited utterances. Where the fuck are you? You're fucking around, aren't you? All of that leads credence to her argument. He went in the house. Also, there's 2 front doors to the house. There's one immediately by the driveway, and then there's one that's situated more in the yard. So that's exactly right. Those messages only prove that she was mad. They don't prove that she knew she killed him, that she wanted to kill him. If they're excited utterances, which is how I treat them, then she didn't know where he was. She didn't have malice of forethought while he's dying behind her car. That it make the sequencing doesn't even make sense. The sequencing doesn't even make sense in the way that the prosecution argues. It doesn't make sense. She's gonna sit there and have malice of forethought to go ahead and leave these messages and then leave them all the way home and then continue leaving them when she gets home. Motherfucker, where are you? I know you're fucking around with somebody. Her lawyers put that work in. They put that work in and their gamble paid off. Their gamble paid off. They decided, well, not even their gamble, their strategy paid off, which was they decided very early on, we need to have our own media presence. From the documentary to interviews to all of that, we need to have our own media presence, tell our own story. That had a massive impact on this case. So, it's over. And that's the bet on that. Can't be tried once you've been acquitted. And they can't now go off and say, "Well, it was first degree intentional homicide. We're gonna charge her with that." They can't do that. Double jeopardy applies. Claudia, what sucks is that there's 2 kids who lost their guardian after losing their parents, and there's no idea what happened. So but the family doesn't think that. The family doesn't think that, and they will raise those kids to believe that she killed him and the jury let her go. The family believes they're in the documentary series. They believe she killed him. So, and that this was not a just verdict, and that'll be what they rock with heretofore. Right, they can't go after anybody else. They put all their eggs in the Karen Reed basket. They can't now turn around and investigate the people in the house. It's been 3.5, 4 years. No grand jury would take that presentation seriously. And also, they didn't gather evidence from inside the house. There's a lot of shit that they never did because they were incompetent ass cops. Ah, K. Smith, got it. This is the first time I'm hearing about this story and thought the article was saying she should be charged. Nope, the article is explaining acquitted today after 3.5 days of jury deliberations. I'm just glad it's not another hung jury. And I don't know if they I doubt it. I doubt they pulled the jury. There would be no point in that because there's nothing they can do. But it'll be interesting to see um if any jurors give interviews. It sounds like they were really deliberating right up into the end because they sent a notice to the judge and said, "We have a verdict." And then they said, "Wait, we might not have a verdict." And then 20 minutes later, they said, "We have a verdict." So it'll be interesting to see if any jurors give any sit down interviews and explain what their own thinking was, and how close it was for voting to, you know, voting for guilty or voting to acquit. Karen, I always thought that was sus as well. And I know correlation doesn't equal causation. I say this on the channel all the time, but them giving that dog away was bizarre. That was bizarre and just doesn't help at all. Doesn't help your story. Shanaria, these biscuit heads are mad about us saying we tried to tell you with this one here and Blake Lively. Oh, the Blake Lively thing had me cracking up. It had me cracking up. And there was a day where I almost talked about it because there were a bunch of rumors going around about, well, one day Reese Witherspoon made a comment and it was clearly directed at Blake Lively. None of that shit was ever about Blake Lively. The media just really wanted to, everybody rises, everybody falls. And people have a lot of different perceptions and opinions about Blake Lively. And there are a lot of people that don't like her. They think she's uppity and sedity and this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. But when that judge dismissed Justin Baldoni's 400 million lawsuit, I just about fell out of my chair laughing. I was just like, fucking finally. Because it basically then quashed the narrative that the media was starting to, and social media in particular, was starting to perpetuate of like, Blake Lively has a history of this. Blake Lively has a history of that. Her husband did this. Her husband, all rumor, all speculation, all, well, remember when such and such said she was talking about Blake Lively? You don't have any fucking evidence of that at all. And then people saying like, well, Jennifer Gardner doing that spoof on Deadpool. She would never. You know why? Because she gives a fuck about her children. So if Ben Affleck had an affair with Blake Lively, the last place Jennifer Gardner is going to be is in a promo for a Deadpool movie. That's not her character. She's not Hollywood thirsty like that. She's more of a farmer than she is an actress. And she loves that about herself, and I love it for her. Alias is still one of the best television series ever, period. Said what I said. But again, people in the public just like to take celebrities or people they see on social media or YouTubers and just puppet them to their own internal bias of the soap opera playing in their heads that makes sense to them with no objectivity whatsoever. None. And it's really disgusting because it's dehumanizing. And if you do that with people that you have no attachment to, what are you like in your real life? As a member of society. I don't like Blake Lively due to that whole plantation wedding situation. But I don't have to like her to smell bullshit. I don't have to like her to smell bullshit. And one of the things that really, I find disheartening about, this channel, my other platforms where I write things, is people mistake objectivity with agreement with the thing I'm being objective about. It's not that. It's being objective. Objectivity is a skill, a gift, an asset, a tool, a defense mechanism for bullshit. It is a lot of things. So develop yours. Agreed. My support of women in the face of patriarchal bullshit isn't conditional. Not in any way. So that's that. Anything else going on before we finish out for the day? AMA. I don't think. I'll just check something real quick. I don't think the Court of Appeals has ruled on the National Guard in California yet. If they have, I don't immediately see it. But it sounded like they, based on the oral arguments yesterday and the questions that the court was asking of the attorneys on either side, sounded like the appeals court, people expect the appeals court to say the president can maintain control of the National Guard. Um, the White House also anticipates that that is going to be the decision, and they are calling up 2,000 more Marines or Army, I can't remember, to also go to California. Why, I don't know at this point. I mean, there was no point to begin with. I mean, I know the point, but the rationale, let me say that, the argument. I don't know what his argument is for adding from an additional 2,000, so going from 5 to 7, but that also popped up overnight. So, yeah, I don't see ruling on that. Still waiting. Okay, so he activated an additional 2,000 National Guard. So he fully expects the court to say, or maybe they did and I missed it. My tummy is very empty and very hungry. Nope, it still hasn't come down yet. But they are showing a distinction between him previously calling up the National Guard and now the deployment that he ordered overnight is National Guard Police Unit. So that's it on my end. I don't think it's been decided. I think the hearing did not go well, but I do not see the actual decision coming down. And the most recent news is everybody's still talking about the hearing yesterday. So What do you think about the abandoned Harris people releasing a sternly worded statement to Toupee and VP Mascara? Nothing. I don't care. Doesn't mean anything. They're not a critical mass of anything. It's political performance. I don't have a thought other than that, truly. Political theater. All right. Well, seeing nothing else, we covered a lot. It wasn't all that great, but law of thirds. We're fucked. The people that should be holding people accountable are silent as the dictator runs off the rails. He's not a dictator. He's the president of the United States. And he's acting within the conventions of the law, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. Notice I didn't say he was acting lawfully. Do everything that he was doing. And the only people who are responsible for him being able to get away with these things are the lawmakers who populate the two-party system that has known about these holes, these weaknesses, in our systems for decades and have done absolutely nothing about it. So, who should you be pissed off about? That the president is going after immigrants to enforce the law? The Democrats. Mhm. The people that had the opportunity to codify protections and never did, repeatedly. Same on gay marriage, same on abortion, same on healthcare. They had their own supermajority and the White House several times, didn't do shit. Don't deserve your vote now. There could be a snap election tomorrow. Who you gonna vote for? You gonna vote for the party that every time they've had the opportunity to codify shit to protect Americans or people in America, they haven't done it? Why do they deserve the vote? Because they're not him? That's not good enough. It's literally not good enough. If the Democrats are gonna come back into power and get on their moral high ground of reinstituting a bipartisan process, they're not gonna do shit policy-wise. They have no plan. They have no effective leadership. They don't deserve a vote today for that reason. I wouldn't vote for them. For what? For them to get in and posture on moral high ground, but not actually do shit? I don't fucking think so. DACA, all of that. Everything that's happening, it's on them. They had plenty of opportunities. And for those of them getting up and squawking all pissed off now about the conditions that immigrants are being held in, well, guess who's responsible for those conditions? They are. This is posturing so that people won't pay attention to the fact that they don't have a plan, that they don't wield power when they have it. If they can keep you focused on, "He's a king." No, he's not. "It's a monarchy." No, it's not. "He's a dictator." No, he's not. He's the president of the United States, working within the conventions of American democracy. So, until people wanna deal with that reality, nothing is gonna change. The fall of the American government is not gonna be brought about because of something that he's done. It's going to be brought about because the opposition doesn't ever do shit and isn't actually opposition. And people are gonna be so fed up and so disgusted with their lack of fucking willpower, fortitude, and a spine to do the work that needs to be done, that is when you will see the burning of the last tendrils of people's grasp on their belief in American democracy. It's not gonna be because of him. It's gonna be because of them. So, instead of going after him all the time, go after your Democratic representatives for your state. Demand a fucking plan that doesn't look like all the shit they've done before that has never worked for people in this country when they have been in power. Because if they can't come with that and assure people that they are actually going to codify protections, the only thing that this is kicking off is a cycle that will repeat every 4 years. So if you want off that bullshit ride, I suggest you check the shit out of the people that have been elected into positional power, since Americans have decided not to tear down the system and try and fix it instead. Thank you for coming to my Henrietta Lex TED Talk, and, yeah, that's all I got to say on that. Keep a good head about you. Him and his whole ilk. AOC is a whole ass fraud too. There is not a Democrat serving in DC right now that deserves to be voted for again. Not a single solitary one. And the ones jumping up to get arrested, Maine Coon energy. Just pathetic ass behavior. These people are in positional power. And they are playing in your fucking face so that you won't pay attention to the fact that they aren't doing shit and they're not gonna do shit. Because the minute they really start to challenge the president is the point in that they really start to challenge the government and the two-party system, and that means their own validity. And they're not gonna do that because they prefer their positional power over doing what is right for the people of America. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for their bullshit because that's all it is bullshit. They put in a lot of sugar so that you think it tastes good. It's poison, and it is helping to kill the people in this nation. Democracy doesn't fall because of one man. It falls because of the failings of the entire system and the people who insist on upholding it so that they can stay in power to fix the problems on behalf of the American people instead of enacting, I don't know, direct democracy because they never, ever, ever fucking do the things we say that we want. And they always fucking do the things that we tell them not to do. From your backyard to DC to around the world where we are just so conveniently bombing brown people and black people on a constant fucking basis. Y'all have a good day. I'll see you soon. Peace.